Today we will be ranking all 74 heroes on FC 25. We did this video last year, we did it the year before as well I think, so we're going to be doing it again this year. There's many new heroes, there's a whole new card design for them as well, which I'm not sure if I'm a massive fan of. For the safest and cheapest FC 25 coins, make sure you head on over to u7buy.com and use my code Davis at checkout for 6% off your order. The links are in the description or the pinned comment down below. S Plus is for the most elite of the elite cards, the cards that will be in your team beyond Team of the Year. S is the cards that are very elite, but not as elite as the S Plus tier. A Plus is for the very good cards, A for the good, B Plus for the not so good but still usable, and B for the ones that you really want to avoid and the ones you want to see last in your hero pack, alright? Starting off, we have got Fernando Morientes, who I believe has a target forward player role plus. I do think the advanced forward is the best player role for a striker, but I always like Fernando Morientes on the game, and with his current game and how it plays, I think bigger strikers are going to be really nice this year. But he screams like an A+ card, which leaves me to Voller, who will be going in the tier above him as an S tier card. Next up is Pepin, who I'm going to be putting into the A tier. He's one of those ones that he's going to be a good hero. A is the good hero, and just because he's not in the same tier as Voller, Fernando Morientes doesn't mean he's bad by any means, but 3-star skills and 79 base dribbling isn't really what you necessarily want to look for when it comes to your striker, but he does have the advanced forward player role, which is a massive bonus. Abedi Pele, now I'm so close to putting him into the S Plus tier, but I think I put him into the S tier ahead of Voller. The S Plus is reserved. You know what, Abedi Pele is a debatable one. I've already got the cards that I'll be putting in S Plus tier in the back of my mind, but Abedi Pele we will put ahead of Voller, and we'll put him as a very high S tier card. Ginola is going to be the first one in the S Plus tier. Don't really need to explain too much on that one. If you've played the game, you know it is Ginola. Vialli is very similar to Pepin. You know what, I'll put him ahead of Pepin. Very similar type of players. Both got advanced forward, I believe. Both strikers, both 3-star skills, both on a little bit of the heavier side, but I think they're both going to A tier. They're both good hero cards that you'll get use out of. Collar is either low tier A or the higher end of the B. His player role plus is stopper, so a kind of a more aggressive centre back that will look to intercept passes. I think we'll put him into the B plus, maybe. I don't know, B plus or A. We may change this later on. With these tier lists, we always have a base one, and then we'll change it a little bit towards the end if I have a couple players I want to switch around. But you could easily make a case for Collar to be in the A tier. People always underestimate, or underrate I should say, centre backs that are a little bit slower. Collar has got 71 pace, but it doesn't mean he's going to be bad. Obviously, he's not going to be going near the B tier. But Lucio, on the other hand, is going in the S plus. He is our second S plus player, and he will be joining David Ginola. Basic, I think her name is, as a newly added hero. She's got great shooting, but otherwise also kind of looking like a Pepin Vialli type of tier. I'm going to put her at the lower end of the A though, because I'd rather a Pepin than Sasic, and I'd rather Vialli than Pepin and Sasic. So she will be towards the lower end of the A tier. JJ Okocha for me is going into the S tier. I'll put him behind Abedi Pele, but it's JJ Okocha, magic, 5-star skills, so good they had to name him twice. Cardo Carvalho, I think that's an A+ card, you know. Maybe higher end of A. I'm going to have him in the A+ with Fernando Morientes. Lizarazu, now this is actually an interesting one. He's got the fullback player role plus. So a fullback is a defensive left back. You do not want to use him as a wing back. You do not want to use him as an attacking wing back. You want to use him as a fullback. As a stay back left back, he is going to be an A+ tier card, and we'll put him towards the higher end of the A+ tier card as well. Litmanen, when it was announced, I think last year, before FC 24, he was going to be going from an icon to a hero. People said maybe he'll be a good hero instead of a bad icon, but he's gone from a bad icon to an average hero. We'll put him into the B+ tier, but we will give him some justice. Maybe, no, you know, I think I'd still put him behind Collar. Now Marquez, I want to put in the tier above Collar and Litmanen. I'd much rather Marquez and Collar. He can play as a CDM as well with an alt position. So yeah, we'll go for Marquez in the A tier. Di Natale, we're also going to be putting into the S plus tier. You know, looking at Abedi Pele, I'm so tempted to move him to S plus as well, but I'm not. I'm going to stick with my guns, I think. Ginola, Lucio, Di Natale are all in the S plus tier. Might even put Di Natale ahead of Lucio, just because is Di Natale. Fantastic. Can't quite remember his play roles. It might be false 9++, but he's also got advanced forward and he's got another one. So as a striker, he's got many player roles, many options for you to use him. And he's a smaller guy, I think 5'8", 5'9", small, agile, 4-star as well. So hey, you cannot complain. Di Natale is always that guy, and he will be going into the S+ tier. Mascherano doesn't look awful. I'll put him into the A tier, and I'll put him ahead of Sasic. Sasic, as I said, will be a card that is in the lower end of the A tier. Mario Gomez is also going to be joining the type of strikers that are a little bit heavier but still good and usable, being Pepin and Vialli in the higher end of the A tier. Future is definitely going into the S tier. I'll put him just behind a Betty Pale, I think. Yeah, Paulo Future, he's got an inside forward plus, and he's a left footer, so I'd play him on the left. The strong foot on the strong side is very important for a inside forward, right? So with him on the left wing as an inside forward, he'll be making those runs in behind, and he's left footed, so he can go across goal. Of course, inside forward, if you're a strong foot, weak side, strong foot, I don't know, but you get what I mean, an inverted winger, a right foot on the left, is going to be very good only really if they have a finesse shot play style plus. So for the ones that don't have a finesse shot play style plus, Paulo Future has a technical. You'd want to play him inside forward plus, left wing. He's going to be fantastic. Vincent Kompany, I'm going to put in the higher end of the S tier as well. Maybe just ahead of Paulo Future. Don't pay attention too much towards the actual precise order of the cards in the tier, but a grand scheme of things. For example, I'd rather a Vialli, Gomez, Pepin than a Sasic, but they're all A tier, whereas S tier I'd rather in a Betty Pale Kompany Paulo Future than maybe a Vola, right? But that does not mean the Betty Pale Kompany Paulo Future order is 100% correct. It's just kind of a rough order, if you will. Isla is going to go into the A+ tier, and I think we'll put her just behind Lizarazu. Milito is, right, I think the A tier is genuinely just going to be the heavier strikers that, in my opinion, can be a little bit underrated. You'd have many people putting Milito, Mario Gomez, Vialli in the B+, but I'm going to put them into the A tier. Looking at this, I really kind of want to put Collar into the A tier as well, or move Sasic down, but I'm going to keep it like this, man. I think, you know, I kind of want to move Sasic down. She's kind of bugging me a little bit. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I've moved Collar up. As I said, we kind of tend to change things as we go along. Litmanen and Sasic in the B+ tier. Forlan for me is going to go in the lower end of the S tier, which brings me to Schneider, and I'm actually going to put him at the very highest end of the S tier, above Betty Pale, above Kompany, above Paulo Future, and he may be cheaper, but I'm not doing it just strictly off of price. Of course, my opinion does come into this as well. 4-star, 5-star. The incisive pass is phenomenal this year. He's a playmaker as a centre mid. So as a playmaker centre mid with that incisive pass, you're going to have one of the best centre mids on the game. Schneider is going into the S tier. In fact, very unlucky not to go into the S+. That's how much I rate the Schneider card. But yeah, 4-star, 5-star, incisive. You cannot ask for too much more. Francis Scully, hopefully I'm pronouncing that somewhat correctly. I'm going to put in the lower end of the A+, with Carlos Tevez going into the S tier, and we'll put him just behind Paulo Future, I think, and just ahead of JJ Okocha. Icon is also a player that will be going into the S tier. I think I'll put him ahead of Vola and ahead of Forlan. Joe Cole is going to go to the top of the A+ tier, whilst another Chelsea legend, Eden Hazard, he's either going to the very tippity top of the S, or I'm putting him into the S+, man. In fact, I'm going to put him ahead of Lucio, very tight with Di Natale. I played his 86 card earlier, the pre-order Origin one, and mate, he is incredibly tough to play against. You could say new hero type, but I think it's the Eden Hazard body type, the kind of small, lean, stocky, along with his insane dribbling. It is a headache to play against him. He's got the inside forward player role. I'm pretty sure it may be plus, which is an incredibly overpowered player role for your wingers, the best player role for your wingers. I'm going to put him into the S+ tier. Rui Costa is kind of similar to Litmanen. I've always preferred Rui Costa slightly over Litmanen, so I'll put him towards the higher end of the B+ ahead of Litmanen. Cordoba. Now, Cordoba is one of those ones that is always an awkward area of him being 5'8" and he's a centre back, right? You don't necessarily want a 5'8" centre back, but he is so good, man. He is so good. That's kind of an awkward situation you're in with him. So I'm going to put him into the S tier, and I'll put him just towards the lower end, maybe just ahead of Forlan. Riise. Ooh, Riise, I'm going to put in the A+ tier. A little bit of an update I want to do is maybe move Francis Scully quite a bit higher in the A+, ahead of Riise. And maybe I'll move Lizarazu ahead of Riise as well. Or Ramirez, now that's a big one. Ramirez for me is going towards the top end of the S tier. With the holding plus as well, it kind of tempts me to put him towards the highest end of the S, and I'm going to do exactly that. The top like 3-4 in the S tier, you could easily debate for S+, but I'm kind of reserving the S+ just for the most elites. I kind of want to put Lucio back above Eden Hazard. I think comparing Hazard to other left wingers and Lucio to other centre backs, I'll probably have Hazard as a top 10 winger in the game, left winger in the game. I'll have Lucio as a top 5 centre back, right? So we'll just flick that around. But the order of S+ tier cards, I mean, if you have an S+ tier card, you're going to be happy no matter. I mean, if you have any card above S tier, you should be pretty bloody happy. Smaller Rick. Now, the thing that let Smaller Rick down, if he wasn't free star, man. If he was not free star, I'd be like the first to put him in the S tier, but for me that is so important. The free star is so important. But his stats are great. He always plays nice. He's silky. He's agile. But the free star, man, I'll put him into the A+ tier. Actually, saying it's so disappointing that he doesn't have a centre mid ult position, because his best stats look to be in that box to box role, but he can't. He can play as a left mid, left wing, or a right mid, I'm pretty sure. Still a nice card. We'll still put him into the A+. But yeah, I wish he had that centre mid position. Al Jaber is going to be going into the B+ tier with Rui Costa and Litmanen. I'll move him towards the lower end of it as well. Yeah, free star. Not really a card you'll be too gutted if you miss out on. A card that you'll be pretty gutted with if you get from a hero pack. Govu, I like Govu a lot. I do like him a lot. I'm going to put him in the highest end of the A+, above Smolarek. Do I put him in the S? Does he make the S? That's a debate. I'm not sure about that. You know what? If I got Forlan in the S, I want to put Govu in the S as well. Goalkeepers are always a pain, so I'll do Dudek and Tim Howard right now. Just the two goalkeepers. Hey, I think to avoid controversies, we'll just both put them in the lower tier, lower end of the A tier. It's nothing about them. I shall put maybe Tim Howard above Dudek, just because everyone's saying Tim Howard's great this year. I mean, bro, but just goalkeepers. Tim Howard, he could play like an S+ card. He could play like an S. Some games he'll play like a B. Like same with Dudek, of course. Goalkeepers are goalkeepers. To avoid controversies, they will be together, and we'll put them towards the lower end of the A. So yeah, good. I mean, if you got them from a hero pack, you'd probably have it in B, because it's gutting to get them from a hero pack. But in terms of usability and how they are in game, put them into the A tier, because keepers are always hard to rate. Leslie King is definitely going into the A+ tier. I say definitely lower end A+ or higher end A. I'm going to put Park Ji-sung above Ricardo Carvalho, and Ledley King or Ricardo Carvalho. I might edge it towards Ledley King, you know. Point into the A tier, and we'll put him above Mascherano but behind Marquez. I actually want to put Marquez above Papin and Milito as well. I think I want to put Marquez at the top of the A tier, man. I love this Marquez card. I always have loved the Marquez hero card. The CDM, the player roles, for me, Marquez goes to the top of the A tier. Capdevila, I'm going to also put into the, I'll put him into the A+, and I'll actually put him ahead of Ricardo Carvalho. Rosicky, I'm going to put into the higher end of A, just behind Marquez, with Landon Donovan going to make the A tier. Yeah, I'll put him towards the higher end of the A as well. In fact, I'd edge him over Rosicky. Freddie Ljungberg, he goes into the A tier. And I'm going to put him, I'd rather him than Coit, so I'll put him above Coit. I feel like moving Papin down, and I want to move Milito down quite a bit, just ahead of the goalkeepers. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Kanu, can you believe it? As an Arsenal fan, man, I gotta love the guy. He's 6'6", I'm pretty sure. He is a giant. Now, in terms of like, I'm going to put him into the lower end of the A just because he's ridiculously fun. If you want to build your game around a really tall, fun card, Kanu will be your guy. Yeah, I mean, I'll just rather him than the B pluses, because you can use his height to your strength. You can abuse the height with a cross, something like that. Whereas the B pluses, you won't have nowhere near as much fun as a Kanu. So for the fact and the fun factor, I will put him into the A tier. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will go ahead and put into the A tier as well. We'll put him just ahead of Papin, with Robbie Keane. Now, Robbie Keane is a card that I want to put into the S tier, and I'm going to put him ahead of Forlan, ahead of Govu as well, you know. Robbie Keane. Even with him being a Tottenham legend, me being an Arsenal fan, Robbie Keane is going into the S tier. Hey, to be fair, Julie is a pretty fun one. Now we're gonna go ahead and where's Freddie Ljungberg, because he's in the same type of category with Freddie Ljungberg. Yeah, we'll put him in the A tier along with Freddie Ljungberg. Vasilis is getting very big, so apologies for all the scrolling. Z Roberto, I got his 86 origin from my pre-order pack, and wow, he was good. He is good. And yeah, very similar to this card. I think Z Roberto is very expensive on the market. Once again, we're not doing all this off of price, but he is definitely going to be making the S tier. I think we put him ahead of company, you know. I think we put him ahead of company. I want to move Future and Tevez ahead of company as well. I want to move Okocha ahead of Tevez, and maybe that's a controversial one. No, I think I'll leave Tevez over Okocha. Once again, this S tier order is definitely the hardest on the list. I want to put Robbie Keane over Cordoba, Govu over Cordoba. I'd keep Cordoba over Forlan. We're trying to reorganize it before we go, so we don't have to worry about that towards the end. Next up is Georgies or Gorgies. I'm not too sure how to pronounce it. She is a new icon. She is a centre back. She's 5'8", just like Cordoba, but a little bit on the weaker side for a centre back. Like Cordoba, it's a player that you'll be wanting to play a lot more, kind of like a ball playing centre back, and then have her paired up with a centre back that is like minimum 6'3". I'll put her into the A tier, and I'll put her just behind Marquez. Hamsik is going into the S tier. It's a little bit laggy there. Hamsik is going into the S tier. I think for the Mohawk alone, he has to be going into the S tier. I'll put Maicon ahead of him though. Yeah, I will put Maicon ahead of him. Harry Kewell, he will be going into the A+ tier. I think I'll pop him in just over Lizarazu. I'll take him over Riise. Now I'll put him behind Lizarazu. I'll take him over Riise. I'll take him over Kessler, Fernando Morientes, everyone that's here. I'm not a fan of the 4-star, 3-star. But stats wise, he's very nice. He can play as a cam as well. I think a central cam would be his best position. Yaya Toure is going to be going into the S+ tier, and I'm going to have him ahead of, you know what, I'm going to put him above Di Natale. Oh, Di Natale versus Lucio, man. It's a really tricky one. It's going to haunt me, but the whole S+ tier order is definitely debatable. Japstam, a new centre-back, a new hero, incredible. If you guys got his origin hero, G, freaking G, it is a massive W. Looks fantastic. A stopper player role ++. Stam is 100% going into the S tier, and he's definitely going into the higher end of the S tier. I think I put him just behind... I'm going to put... Yeah, I like the order of his S tier right now. Right, I think I like this order. I might put Paulo Future... I'm not going to put him over Z Roberto. I love Z Roberto as a box-to-box centre mid, is how I'm using his origin card at the moment, as a box-to-box centre mid. So yeah, I really love him. But Paulo Future with the inside forward, the strong foot on the left side, might put him there. But yeah, I like the order of Ramirez, Schneider, Abedi, Pele, Stam, then Paulo Future. I really like that order. Maybe Paulo Future over Stam? I don't know. It's so tricky, man. It is so tricky. So please do not pay too much attention to the order, because I'm beating myself up in my brain with it. It's a tough one. McManaman, we're going to put into the A tier. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we'll put him into the higher end of the A tier. Oh, Brolin. Brolin's an A+. I think I want to put Brolin maybe just behind Franciscoli. I don't know, that's a pretty close one. That is a pretty close one, but we'll put him into the A+ tier. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only B tier card. Welcome to the tier list, Campos. Every year, always into the lowest tier. He's a goalkeeper. He is 5 foot, what is he? 5'7", 5'8" as a goalkeeper. Someone will say I used him and he's really good. No, you do not want to use a 5'8" goalkeeper. Stay away. He's going into the B tier if you get him from a hero pack, and unlike Howard and Dudek, the normal size goalkeepers, I'm sorry Campos, my friend, probably a lovely guy, we have to put you into the B tier, especially against players with a finish shot play style plus, it's going top bins. So yeah, we'll put Campos into the B tier. You do not want a 5'8" tall goalkeeper. Hubertov actually looks pretty disappointing this year. We'll still put him into the A tier nonetheless, so, and I'll put him... I think he's kind of in his category here. I'll have him above Viali, but even behind Rosicky. Marquisio, he is 100% going into a ZS tier, and we're going to be putting him, I think we're going to put him ahead of Maicon. Nakata, one of those former icons, but I'd rather Nakata than Rui Costa and Lipmanen, so I'll put him into the lower end of the A tier. Yeah, I will put him in the lower end of the A tier. We'll put him ahead of Kanu as well. Bompastor is going to go, I think the high, nah, we'll put her just ahead of Capdevila, I think. Oh, it's very, very laggy. Very laggy. Here we go. We'll put her ahead of Capdevila in the lower end of the A+ tier. She's got the attacking wingback player role ++, but is that only a 3-star on her card? Though was a bit of a letdown, but nonetheless a nice left back and a very good attacking wingback option. Mostovoy will be joining Rui Costa Litmanen, just in the type of, they're all cams, just type of average cams, if you will. Jamie Carragher, I'm going to put in the higher end of the B tier as well. I think if we compare him to, say, Collar, for example, where's Collar? There we go, Collar, who's just directly right above him. Yeah, I'd rather Collar than a Jamie Carragher. Melito, I kind of want to move down a little bit, maybe just ahead of Kanu, with Nakata ahead of him. Matuidi, now Matuidi looks fantastic, a card I have not used. I've not had his origin, I've not been privileged to have his hero in draft as of yet, but Matuidi is going to be going into the S tier. I'm going to put him ahead of Z Roberto and just behind Jap Stam. He's got the holding ++, which is fantastic, so he is going to be your CDM. If you're using a 4-3-3 or any formation that involves a CDM, Matuidi is going to be your guy, alright? Farrah Williams, I'm pretty sure, is it Farrah? But nonetheless, Williams, I know her first name is like an ARA, I think it's F. I think it's it might be... Is it Farrah or Farrah Williams? Nonetheless, great passing on her. Very nice passing on her. Not a mind-blowing card. There's some categories where you'd think, you know, she could be a little bit better in. I think she's, see, I'm looking at Kessler right above her. So we'll do the thing again. Would I rather her or Marquez? I don't know. Would I rather her over Capdevila or Bompastor? I don't think I would. So we're going to keep her. I think we've got her in a perfect position. The higher end of the A tier. Oh, Ricken. Good old Ricken. We'll put him in the lower end of the B tier. Just behind Aljabeer. Beasley's a versatile type of player. A player that you could get use out of on the left-hand side in your team. We'll put him ahead of Kanu, and we'll put him behind Melito in the lower end of the A tier. Peter Crouch, I think we actually put him with Kanu. He kind of fits that category. The lower end of the A tier with Kanu and Crouch are just for tall players that might not necessarily be insane or meta, but they've got their height, and with crosses to them, you can make them meta. The word meta is always different for everybody, but if you love using taller strikers, you'll love them. And I'll definitely probably take a Kanu and Crouch over the players in a B+ tier, simply because they are more fun, man, because they're more fun. Guti, honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed with Guti's stats. I said this when I did my origin tier list. He's one of the ones, I'm going to put him in ahead of Williams in the A tier, but like with Guti, over 300 appearances for Real Madrid, I think 2 or 3 Champions League titles. You know, he's getting a hero card, you're thinking he should be an A+ type of player, but I'll put him into the A tier. Dempsey, we'll put him above Aljabeer and Ricken, but that is definitely a B+ card. Tim Cahill, hey, for the Aussies out there, we'll put him in the higher end of the B+. Could debate a lower end of the A, but yeah, we'll put him into the higher end of the B+. Now, Saeed Al Owairan, if you guys can still see him at the bottom of your screen. Saeed Al Owairan, oh, PTSD from, was it FIFA 23? Man, now Saeed Al Owairan, he's going to be going into the S tier. I'm going to put him above Robbie Keane, you know. You know what, I'm going to put him above Cordoba, just behind Maicon, I think. Inside forward, he's a left footer, so you'll be probably can he play as a left wing? No, he can't play as a left wing, so you have to play him on the right and then cut in and finesse. I don't think he has a finesse shot, but you can obviously cut in and go near post or something like that. But yeah, inside forward is a lovely player role to have. He's rapid. It's Saeed Al Owairan. If you know, you know. A little bit of an anticlimactic ending, as both Alex Scott and Noor are going to be going pretty low in the tiers. We'll put Noor just ahead of Dempsey for the fact he's a new hero. So hey, might be a little bit fun. Alex Scott will put towards the higher end in the B+ tier. We'll put her behind Jamie Carragher. I'm going to have a little fiddle around and see if I want to change anything. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end product. Don't pay too much attention to the order. I kind of gave up on that a long time ago. But in the S+ tier, you've got your Ginolas, Torre, Lucio, Di Natale, and Hazard. You could debate lots of the higher tier of S's could be in the S+ as well, but that's where the difference is, I think. I'd take everyone in the S+ tier over everyone in the S tier. Of course, that's just me personally. Ramirez topping the S tier with names like Schneider, Abedi Pale, Paolo Futura, Jap Stam. Got Matuidi, a newly added hero in there with Z Roberto, who's fantastic. Carlos Tevez, JJ Okocha, Vincent Company. We're not going to name every single one. Towards the lower end of the S tier, you've got your Forlan, Cordoba, Govu type of players. In the A+, you've got the smaller Rex and Ashley Cole, Joe Cole at the top of the A+ tier. Kessler and Riise making up the type of mid-tier A+, and then towards the lower end is the Capdevila, Bompastor, and Ricardo Carvalhos. In the A+ tier, you have your Marquez, Gutis at the top, and your, of course, goalkeepers, and more fun, really tall type of strikers in Peter Crouch and Kanu, with the middle of it being kind of made up of the Youngberg, Coits type of players, Julie in there as well. Now, Mario Gomez, looking at this, Mario Gomez is a card I actually want to move up a little bit ahead of Berbatov, in my opinion. But yeah, that is the A tier, and I'm pretty happy with the A tier. B+, you have the Cahill, Carragher's at the top, and then the Ricken, Aljabeers, Dempsey's, Noors, Lippmann, Rui Costa in there, and the Sasic as well. So the B+ tier is a type of heroes that they're usable, but you don't really want them. Nah, not great, but they're usable. And the only card in the B tier, ladies and gentlemen, is Campos. You do not want to be using a 5'8" goalkeeper. We do this every year, so hopefully you guys did enjoy this year's hero tier list. Of course, this is subject to change throughout the year and as the meta plays. I'm loving the current meta because there is no massive meta. There's some OP things, but you know how we had near post shots, and I think FIFA 20 was unsavable. You had the bridges in FIFA 21, or was that FIFA 20? The bridges, this is for the OG, a little bit more of OG players. You'd have the bridges where you press down on the bumper, the Travellas in FIFA 23, the finish shot playstyle at the start of last year's game, but this game is a lot more balanced. I think player roles are massive. And there is a meta in a sense in custom tactics, but nothing that's too overpowered. So I think all of these players, like any of the players, B+ are going to be usable, but all of the A tier level players you're going to get some solid use out of. And obviously the A+ you'd be happy with if you got from a hero pack. The S's and S+ are nice. But of course, unless an update happens, which there will be an update in a month's time, and there's a massive meta shift where there's some obvious meta, then of course this video could be completely outdated and different to my current thoughts and experience on the game. But yeah, I love this game. I think passing is a lot more responsive. It's a lot smoother. Through balls are fantastic. Playstyle pluses are still insane. Attacking wingbacks on the same side as inside forwards. If we're talking player roles, I think inside forward is the most important one for a winger. Having an inside forward and an attacking wingback on the same side, it's fantastic. So yeah, what I'm trying to get across is this is my thoughts with the current gameplay we've got right now, what these hero cards are looking like, their player roles, a mixture of all of that good stuff. In a month or two's time, the meta almost always shifts throughout the year and whenever EA update the game. So we'll have to wait and see, but by the time you're watching, this could be incredibly inaccurate. So yeah, it's been your boy Davis, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.